Hi everyone, this is Mark Webster from vSure, and today we'll be talking about the penalties that can apply for employers who have workers in breach of visa conditions. So this table here just goes through the different penalties that can apply, and you can see here that there are a wide range of penalties that may be applicable, and they go all the way from a warning notice through to serious fines and also jail time. So let's go through this in a bit more detail. The first one we have there is an illegal worker warning notice, and this is for situations where the employer has been detected as having staff in breach of visa conditions, but the department has decided not to impose a formal penalty in terms of a fine or criminal sanction. And the purpose of that is to inform the employer about their obligations under the Employer Sanctions Legislation. And you may think that that's getting off with a light touch, but in fact, getting a warning notice will be on your permanent record, and it could certainly mean that you find it more difficult to access the employer-sponsored visa categories, because it will be there as evidence that you have not complied with immigration laws when you come to apply for your sponsorship or to sponsor particular staff in applying for nominations and visas. The second one we have there is called an infringement notice, and this is a bit like a traffic fine, where you have been detected as having workers in breach of visa conditions, and that mere fact is enough for the penalty to be imposed, and you'll need to go to court to actually dispute that, similar to the traffic fine. So the department can issue that without establishing any sort of mental state of the employer in that they knew or were reckless or negligent that there were staff working in breach of visa conditions. So that's a fine that can be imposed without any of that sort of proof. And these fines actually apply per worker that has been detected in breach of visa conditions. So you can see that the fine is $18,900 for the infringement notice. If you have, say, 5 workers, that is adding up to be quite a significant fine. Next, we have the civil penalty order, and this one is $94,500 per illegal worker. And that's in situations where the Department of Immigration does decide to take you to court. And if you can't show that you've done your visa checking to establish what we call a statutory defence, that penalty will be enforced by the courts. And just to remind you, these civil penalties are strict liability, no fault penalties. They apply even if you don't know you have workers in breach. Next, we have the criminal sanctions, and these require some level of wrongdoing by the employer in that they knew that they had workers in breach or that they were reckless about that. So if there's criminal conduct in that there's knowledge on the part of the employer, then the fine is $126,000 and can include terms of imprisonment of up to 2 years as well. In the case of aggravated offences, this is where there's some egregious behaviour such as human trafficking or serious exploitation of workers. In that case, the fine is $315,000 for all corporations, and that may involve prison terms of up to 5 years. You can see there that there's also fines which apply to individuals, and these are for situations where the company director or officer knew or was negligent that they had staff working in breach of visa conditions. So these fines and these penalties may apply personally to company directors and officers who don't do the right thing. So just to introduce vSure, vSure makes it easy to comply with these new requirements. It means that you can rest easy that you are doing the visa checking you need to do to avoid these fines. So probably one of the most important things is that it's much easier to do checks. You can just click one button and your entire workforce will be checked, and you'll get a report that explains who's got an issue, and you can then take the appropriate action. Another good thing about it is that it sends you reminders about visa expiries. So that means you won't miss visa expiries, you won't have staff that have become unlawful. And that is one of the main bases for the fines to be imposed. You can also set up automated checks so that your staff are being checked every month, and that will pick up any issues that have come up since you last checked or any changes of visa status, which mean that potentially your staff have less favourable work rights. If you'd like more information about how vSure works, please contact us and we'll organise a demo for you. That way we can look into your business, give you advice about how vSure may be able to assist and make your life a bit easier. Thanks for listening and look forward to hearing from you.